Welcome to Conversations Different, a podcast of the Santa Fe New Mexican about the interesting people, places, and issues of northern New Mexico. This is Inez Russell Gomez. This week, we are speaking to Chef Nité Marquez about his social media platform, his cooking classes, and a new cookbook that will be coming out very soon. Welcome, Chef.
Thank you so much.
I have to say that I found you on Facebook in my feed, and I was so happy when I started watching your videos because A, you explain things really well, and B, you don't use cumin in New Mexico food. You cook like we do.
Yeah, cumin is great,
Yep.
but not so much in the New Mexican cuisine. I mean, I use it in, a couple things, but not maybe a couple things and I like cumin, but
Yeah.
not in the New Mexican cuisine.
No, I'm with you. I like it too, but we don't. And it's one of those, it's kind of like when you go to a restaurant, if you're somewhere else besides New Mexico and they offer you black beans with supposed New Mexico cooking. And I like black beans, but that's not what we use. So
Right,
it's not going to be authentic.
right, right. Yeah.
Tell us how you started cooking.
Well, this goes back a long time. When I was just a kid, my mom was a chef,
Okay.
and to back up a little bit, we lost my dad when I was just one, and
Ouch. Yeah.
my family. I was the youngest of six, and my mom used to had to work, in restaurants, and I would get dropped off as a 5-year-old kindergarten in the restaurant where she worked, and that's where I got familiarized with kitchens.
Okay.
And as I grew up, by the time I was like maybe 8, she was diagnosed with cancer, and
Mm.
so I was the youngest, like I said, and I would sleep with her and spend most of the time with her. And she would say, "Okay, I need you to do this and go peel a potato and whatnot, and maybe make a small a gravy with it, with just a reduction of water and salt and pepper, and and the starch of the potato." And I'd bring it to her, not knowing that I was learning how to cook from her. But that's how I started initially, with my mom giving me direction on how to cook.
Oh, that's the
Yeah,
best way to learn.
yeah,
We have something in common because my mom was a waitress when I was a little girl, and then she opened her own small restaurant in Las Vegas. And it was the same thing. We'd go to the restaurant and be there while she was doing all the cooking and preparations. And they made me wash dishes though, so I never learned to cook very well. So I'm glad that you got better tutelage because you really have expanded. Obviously you cook northern New Mexico food, but you have such a wide repertoire.
yeah. I enjoy cooking. That's for sure. If I would have known I was going to be a chef,
Mhm.
I would have gone to um, a
A school,
cooking university. Like my
right?
best friend, he went to the CIA, the Culinary Arts Institute of America in Hyde Park, New York, when we
Mhm.
graduated, and I went to New Mexico State as a civil engineer, which had the hardest math, you know,
Yes,
ever.
it does. Yep.
Yeah, but yeah, I wish I would have gone to a culinary art school, but I'm actually learned by on the job training.
Oh, wow. So you go to New Mexico State. Did you stay and graduate, or what did you do? Um,
No, I like I said, I had no parents, I had no money. It was very rough. I tried my
yep.
best, and I had to come back. I had to come back, and there was a job waiting for me at the Taos Inn, where I was just a dishwasher.
Yep.
But 6 weeks passed, and I was like, "Hey, I think I can do what they're doing." Yeah. So I jumped on the line, and
Nice.
and that's where I started my cooking career.
That's a great way to start is by doing though. And you
Mhm.
probably already had good knife skills and those kinds of things.
I did. I
Yeah.
actually did. To cooking at home. I didn't know that every kid. I was the only one that was cooking at home at an early age, but it helped me.
So you started doing starchy, like a gravy thing you said for your mom. Do you remember what the first like dish you learned to cook?
Oh, she would always cook like huevos rancheros with stacked with
Mhm.
chili and the fried egg on top.
Yeah.
That was one of the first things that I learned from her. Um, Before she got sick, we had a wood fire stove that she cooked out of, and that's one of the things that I remember her doing. I was like stacked chili, an
Hmm.
egg on top, cheese. It was such a comfort food, but it moved on. It moved on. To like when I saw her do something different, more of a restaurant style. Um, what was it? Beef stroganoff,
Okay.
and she made the best beef stroganoff. And I didn't quite. I remember the ingredients she used,
Hmm.
but then I didn't master it or attempt it till like my mid 20s and stuff. But yeah, that was one of the things. The sopapillas were the big one with her, and buñuelos, and then my grandma stepped in once in a while, and I learned a lot from her too.
Yeah. That makes
Yeah,
sense.
yeah.
Yeah. I should have learned from my grandma. She made tortillas and sold them. If you ever have been to Vegas in the old days, they had Columbia Supermarket, and those little tortillas that they sold were my grandma's. And she got up every morning to make, 4 dozen, 5 dozen, and get them out of the door by, 9 o'clock, eight
Mhm.
o'clock. And I never picked it up. So I wonder what made you interested to pick it up?
I was always, interested. It
Hmm.
was it was um it was something that just I was interested in it, and it came to me easily for some reason. It just
Yeah.
I was, when a person's mind is interested in something, it it's easier to learn more, than to do something that you're not interested.
Yeah.
But I was very interested and fascinated with the ingredients that they would come up with, and using what was in the fridge. What was, back in those days, we had very little money,
Hmm.
and we they would use what was in the ingredients, what was in the pantry or in the refrigerator.
Yeah.
And I was
That's
always, yeah.
Yeah, that's a sign of a great cook is to look at what you've got and be able to make something.
It is, a lot of feedback that I get through my platforms is like, why did you make chili today with ground beef? Or why did you make chili today with ground venison? Or, and that was because I was taught to use what was in your fridge, or what we would make a matanza, and we'd have a, pork, and we'd make the chili with pork, or
Yep.
we'd have my older brothers came home with a elk hunting,
Oh,
and we'd make chili with that. And so it was just use what we had, make chili with what we have, or, you know, utilize what we have.
yeah. Yeah,
Hmm.
because you don't, especially if you're living out in the country a little bit or in a little town like you said you from Seco, if you out there, you don't get to run to the store quickly because there's not necessarily a decent grocery store where you can run get everything you want.
Absolutely. Yeah. It takes about maybe 20 minutes to get to a store from here, from where I'm at, 15 to 20 minutes,
Yeah.
to town. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
When my folks came back from Texas, they lived in Mora and it was, 35 minutes at least to go shopping,
wow. Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know. So
Yeah.
you learn to get your list and get everything and use your freezer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm still doing that.
That makes sense. So you cooked at the Taos Inn. So you're on the line. What happened next?
I I was the I started cooking at the Taos Inn as a prep cook, and then of course I went into the line, and there was a new hire of a chef. They hired a chef. His name was Zeke Lambert,
Oh,
and
wow.
yeah, they hired him like in the I guess I don't know like 88 maybe I don't know 90,
Mhm.
and he opened up his own restaurant,
Yes, he did.
which started Lambert's Restaurant, and he took me with him, and I started that. We opened up that restaurant, and I was one of the first employees that he had, and that's where I started. I worked there I think about 7 years there. Um,
Okay.
yeah, and then from there I I took a break from Lambert's after 7 years.
Yeah.
He and he took me out that night, and he said, "Honestly, tell me honestly why you're leaving." And I go, "Well, I just need something different. Nothing personal. I'm not mad or you know." So I took a job at the stakeout. I don't know if you remember the
Yeah.
stakeout back in those days. Um, and they actually when I came into the stakeout, they actually let the chef go like
Ooh.
2 weeks before
Yeah.
that. After that, and then
Right.
they offered me the chef position there, and I worked there. But um, I had, and I still do, play in a band called Mezcal,
Oh, okay.
and I couldn't really fulfill my chef responsibilities, my head chef responsibilities. So I stepped down, and from there I took other jobs from I went to I don't know if you remember the Southside Bean. It was a coffee shop.
Oh, I loved it. Yeah.
And my friend, what was his name? It was a while back. Um, God, I'm sorry, Peter Maselli.
Okay.
Um, he offered me the job there as to open it, and I did that for a while. Until I got offered a job at the El Monte Sagrado.
Oh,
Um,
my goodness. Okay. We'll take a break now and
yeah.
come back in a moment with more conversations different. You have definitely, though, moved up in the world at El Monte Sagrado.
We make renewable doable. We're positive energy solar for a cleaner, brighter future for all. Positive energy's the right call. Feel good about your energy bill. Help save the planet too. Your trusted solar company, working hard for you. Generate positive energy. Positive energy solar.
We are back with Chef Nité Marquez out of Taos and Arroyo Seco. And we're talking about when he went to El Monte Sagrado. Now, that was a fancy hotel, eco hotel. I actually got to go to the opening celebration because I was a stringer for People magazine, and there was a report that stars were going to be there. So
Exactly.
I was there, except we weren't the fancy ones because I only got to stay at, oh gosh, oh, the Ken, what's his face's one on the south side of town. We didn't get to stay at El Monte Sagrado. So anyway, so I took the bus. They had a shuttle for us, a lower reporters, but it was beautiful. Did you have fun there?
I did.
Yeah.
I was the first employee to get hired at El Monte Sagrado,
Wow.
and they, I got interviewed, and they said, "Give your notice. We want to hire you." Okay, I gave my notice, 2 weeks notice
Yeah.
at the Bean, and then I went over there, and they weren't ready. The hotel wasn't ready. They wasn't
Ooh.
it wasn't ready yet. And I go, "Well, you asked me to give notice." And the guy goes, "Well, you want to put on a hard hat and work construction? I said, sure. You know, I got to work.
Yep.
So I probably worked. It took about a month before the hotel was ready, kitchen was ready. So I spent most of my time in that kitchen, just cleaning it and placing all the equipment in place there. And before that, we were cooking. We were doing employee orientations, and we were out of the enchiladas building. And
Okay.
I'd cook for the employee orientation till everything got ready, and we opened up under the chef Johnny Vincennes, Johnny V,
Wow.
very popular chef from Florida.
That's
Very,
right.
yeah, very good chef. Very good chef. I worked under him for a couple more years. Yeah, very
What
good chef.
working in a kitchen, I imagine, is kind of stressful. How did you manage to keep up all those years?
Good question. I mean, working in the fast-paced kitchen, you have to learn how to multitask a lot and not get nervous or flustered or with all the tickets that are coming in, and that's huge. And that's probably the main question that all these chefs and cooks get, is how to you know do it in these fast-paced restaurants. But I did it. It was it and you get kind of like motivated. You get like an adrenaline kicks in, and you start putting out, and it's right after you finish your last order, you get this sense of accomplishment. It's pretty nice, especially when nothing comes back and you get all these sorts of compliments. And but yeah, it's a little on the stress side that you have
Yeah,
to cope, that you have to
kitchens
just
don't
deal
stop.
with.
Yep.
Yeah.
Did you have a favorite dish in a restaurant that you like making?
Actually, at Lambert's had a pepper crusted lamb loin on there with a red wine demi glace with garlic noodles, garlic
Mm,
linguine with asparagus, and sometimes calabacitas. And that was one of my favorite.
yep.
Um, Very popular and very tasty. That was one of my favorite, amongst the many, all of them. There was so much in that restaurant, but that comes to mind as one of my favorite dishes
Yeah.
that
I think I
that I
believe my
still do.
husband has eaten it.
Yeah, I still do that here at home. I still
Mhm.
like to have it once in a while.
Nice. What
Yeah.
about at the stakeout? Because it's mostly steaks there, or what other things did you
It
do?
was 90% steaks there. It
Hmm.
was, I thought I moved from Lambert's to a much quieter, not as busy restaurant. The
Hmm.
opposite. There was
Oh,
busloads that came in. 150 people just walked in.
oh
Get
gosh.
ready, and they all was like, "What?" One time we did like 300 covers, and out of 300 covers, I probably did about 250 of them on the grill on steaks.
Wow.
Seriously. Yeah. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Those are some really good, Mauro and Danilo were the restaurant owners, and they ran a really good organized organization there, and really good high quality meats. And that's where I really learned how to grill out, by doing that many covers all the time.
Mm.
So
Yeah, I imagine that keeping the heat. My son is teaching himself to grill now, and he really, because he's doing it with gas and he's trying to do it with charcoal. And he says that getting the heat to the right temperature, so you get the meat and get it off is the right way, is harder than it looks.
yeah, yeah, it's definitely, you got to make sure that it's up to temperature, because
Yep.
you won't get the good sear. You won't, you won't get it. you got to lock that heat in along with the flavors that you're going to be, using. And it's definitely the temperature of the grill is very, very crucial to grill a good steak.
Yeah. Yeah. I just thought you turned it on and then it worked.
No.
So, that's not how it goes.
And it's the same with a pan. It's the same with if you want to do a pan seared fish or a steak or whatever, it's got to be up to temp and add a little oil or whatnot, and it's got to be smoking now. Put it in now. It's like,
okay. So wait till it smokes. That's good to know.
A little bit, not like smoky, but till the it's ready. You can tell when it's ready to create a good sear.
Yeah, that makes sense. On that note, we'll take a quick break and be back in a moment with more Conversations Different.
This is Patrick Dorsey, publisher of the Santa Fe New Mexican. Looking to reach a wider audience and grow your business? For 175 years, the Santa Fe New Mexican has been the trusted voice of Santa Fe, with unmatched local reach in print and online. In addition to our long-standing, independent, family-owned newspaper, we have a full-fledged marketing team with the expertise to help you succeed in the 21st century. From traditional print to precision-targeted digital advertising, we have the tools to connect you with your ideal customers. Partner with us and see the results for yourself. Advertise with the Santa Fe New Mexican and unlock your business's full potential. Visit us at santafenewmexican.com/advertising or call us at 505-995-3852. Thank you.
We are back with Chef Nité Marquez from Taos, Arroyo Seco. And after you cooked and cooked and cooked, I know that you also teach at a high school and you're writing a cookbook and you have videos on all sorts of platforms. Tell us how you got to those places.
Well, after COVID hit, I was the chef I went back to be the chef at the Taos Inn. And after COVID hit, I lost 80% of my staff. But I got offered from the superintendent at the time to go be the culinary instructor in Peñasco High School. And since I was, in a good spot, and my kids were out of college, and I was debt free, actually, thank God. I said this could be fun. So I went to the Peñasco High School to start that culinary program there. And that's where these kids were like, you should do a video on TikTok, So one day I was over here cooking. As I said, I'm going to try it. I got my phone and I did a green chili with pork, and I did a breakfast burrito, and I smothered it and I uploaded it. And that night it got like 10,000 views overnight.
Whoa.
By the morning. And that's where I knew what I wanted to do, because all my life, like, I've been wanting to do a cooking channel. I didn't know it was going to be TikTok at first because I wanted to do it, through YouTube. But that's how it started, and I said, this is what I want to do. Nice. So it fell into place with doing videos, and that started other platforms like Instagram and Facebook, and I started adding those videos to there, and they took off too, and then all these people that were watching were asking for recipes, a cookbook. And inside my heart, I've always been wanting to do a cookbook since like 2010. I've always wanted to do a cookbook, and it fell into place too. I started writing all these down, or images, taking images of all the plates that I do on these platforms. And I started a cookbook last December. And it's finished right now. And I'm actually having a little complications on publishers.
Mm-hmm.
I started with a publishing company, and they sent me a proof of it, and it wasn't the quality that I wanted. So I'm talking to some local publishers here in New Mexico, out of Espanola and Santa Fe, and hopefully this cookbook will be out by late June, the end of
Nice.
this month, or early July.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you have so many things you know how to cook. So what did you decide to put in your cookbook?
Well, interesting question. I went on the air, live, through these platforms, and I asked the people, let
Okay.
them decide. And I just logged down all the most famous, popular recipes that they wanted to see. And it's going to be about 60 to 62 recipes. And I just judged it based it on what they wanted to see in this cookbook. So
Okay.
that's how I
Smart.
decided.
Did you keep all your New Mexico recipes?
Yeah, it's all food that's related to, from natillas to sopapillas, tortillas, red and green chilies, and
Oh,
stuff for la torta de huevo during Lent, and all this traditional. I try to keep everything traditional.
yeah.
And it's a volume 1, and because it'll push me to make a volume 2 for putting that on my cookbook. And I already started the manuscript on my volume 2. So
Smart.
yeah.
Yeah, I loved the natillas video because that was one of my favorite desserts that my mom made. And like I said, I never learned to cook very well. So I didn't learn how to make it. And you make it really similarly. So I know that it's going to taste pretty much the same. So
Mhm.
I that's one of the ones I'm learning to make because I think food connects us to our memories and to the people we love. And if we don't learn how to make those dishes, then we lose some of our past.
Right. You're right. And it'll get lost. I'm
Yeah.
trying to prevent the recipes, and the traditional dishes that from here, from New Mexico. I'm trying to keep them alive, and because it'll get lost if we don't show our kids that too, and and other upcoming chefs and cooks. We got to keep our flavors and traditions alive.
Right.
So
And
mhm.
it's really important today because so many people have moved to New Mexico and then present this is how traditional cooking is, and it's not right. And it might be good, but they're not explaining it like when we add white wine to pozole, this is an addition. They're presenting it as this is how it's been done. And I think that's,
Mhm.
kind of unfortunate.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's very similar. Everybody cooks similar. It's all related. Oh, my mom used to do this, my grandma used to do this, but it's all kind of related.
Yeah.
There's not one New Mexican recipe that's better than the other. It's just different styles, and it's all kind of connected, and it's very similar. But because I've seen other restaurants that I go to that are New Mexican, or and it's pretty similar, and I enjoy each and every one of them. The question I get a lot is, what chili do I use? And to be honest, I like all chilies,
Yeah.
from Hatch to Lemitar to Ziegler Farms, all the way up to Los Lunas. There's a buddy of mine that's growing chili here in Taos. That's phenomenal chili, and the Pueblo, Colorado chili is right up there too. It's nothing wrong with. I love chili.
Yeah.
That's
It's
all I
good.
can say about chili.
I love that somebody took a picture of the red chili you were using and went to buy some because you have that brand, the Chimayo chili that you like for
Mhm.
the red. And they went and searched to find this exact one that you were using so they could get the recipe right.
Good,
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. You're really influencing people. I think, how does that feel as a cook and a chef to see people so excited about what you do?
I'm excited, and sometimes I get a little nervous and afraid. Meaning that, like I said, there's so many varieties of chilies and stuff, that I mean, I prefer the chimayo, but there's also some really good chilies in Hatch and, like I said, other places. So I'm happy that they follow, that they try to get the chili that I use. I really do. I'm happy about it, but sometimes, there's so many other types of chilies out there that, if you can't find the chimayo, you have to find whatever's in your area, and that's fine too.
No, I think that's true. And I think you're right about recipes being similar. It's just good to have a place where you can go and say, this is how it's been done for a long time without any of the new things that come in. Like, again, going back to cumin, not having that in your food, except occasionally. Or, some people put a ton of oregano in their chili or in their pozole, which we never did, but you can. It's not bad. It's just different.
Hmm. Yeah, it's not bad, and I encourage everybody out there that is trying to cook my recipes. If you don't have any of those ingredients like spices and stuff, I encourage them to use what's in your pantry.
Yeah.
Season as you go along, season until you're happy with that. It's more than one way to skin a cat or something like that. But I encourage people, if people don't like cilantro, just don't add cilantro. If you don't like oregano, just don't add oregano or whatever the ingredient is. Be you and work and season with your heart. That's what I tell people.
Yeah. What I
know.
think is so amazing about New Mexico cooking and food is that because we were on the frontier and so far away from everything, we had very simple ingredients. And yet people made these incredible dishes using the simplest of ingredients.
Right. Whatever we had, that's the concept that I'm going with my cookbook, where people my mama, my grandma and my mom and the other grandmas and other grandparents, they would take these ingredients and turn them into something delicious. Simple ingredients and turn them into something delicious. That's really what it's all about in cooking. And New Mexico is a cuisine of its own. It really is. You can't go and find something like this in other states. Maybe very little one, but New Mexico is a cuisine of its own. I tell everybody that.
Boy, that's true. I lived away and I found out because every time I'd go to a New Mexico restaurant, it would not be right. And often it wasn't even good. It wasn't just that it wasn't right. They didn't know how to do it at all. So you're taking the summer off from school, doing your cookbook. Where can people find your videos and how do they look for you?
Oh, my videos are on Instagram, on Facebook, on TikTok, and recently I started a YouTube account.
Okay.
And to find me on those platforms, just Nité Marquez, Nite Marquez, Marquez. Sometimes you can put the chef in front of it, but that'll get you to any of my cooking platforms.
Good.
Yeah.
And do you know where we'll be able to order your cookbook?
I will be placing a link on my platforms and I will be going live. I talked to this guy from Española Print Works. His name's Lupe Archuleta. I want to do some print. He said he can print my cookbooks. And I'm probably going to have a Taos a book signing in Taos, Santa Fe, Albuquerque, and maybe down south toward Las Cruces. And I will go live on all my platforms, and I'll let my followers know, or anybody that's interested, where the link to buy this. I'm trying to put it on Amazon so you can buy my cookbook. I'm working on that. And also in bookshops and stuff like that. But first, I want to sell it myself in book signing places, so I can talk to the people directly and sign it myself to them and thank them myself, but I will set up a link on my platforms, and hopefully you can have them available on Amazon or maybe Shopify or all these other platforms that are out there to sell cookbooks.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah.
And on that note, we will be back next week with another Conversations Different. Thank you, Chef Nité.
You're welcome. Thank you so much.
Thank you for listening to Conversations Different, hosted by me, Inez Russell Gomez, editorial page editor for the Santa Fe New Mexican. Our weekly episodes would not be possible without your support. We hope you enjoy them and keep listening. New episodes drop every Tuesday. Consider signing up for our newsletter so you never miss an episode, and while you're at it, consider subscribing to the Santa Fe New Mexican. Our podcast is available by visiting our website, santafenewmexican.com/podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. Conversations Different with Inez Russell Gomez is produced by Matt Dalside and Ernesto Cisneros, published by the Santa Fe New Mexican, a local and independent newspaper owned by Robin Martin.